Master Chef? I'm the new key grip.
I'm so proud of you. That's great, Tommy.
Oh, I'm loving it. I really am.
I've got a mate in Concord, Chinese cunt. Apparently he loves fucking elephants. Well, not actually fucking elephants, but he doesn't mind up.
Good work, Tommy.
I know what you want to hear. You want to hear a reason as to how or why I turned out the way I did. You want to understand, have I always loved the hating, the killing, the violence? You see, we come from two totally separate worlds, you and I. Two worlds that are intrinsically woven together to ensure that we'll dance through one another's nightmares for all eternity. My life is a paradox. The likes of fucking mutt like you won't even begin to understand. You know I've killed someone, but my seed goes on. I'm full of hate, but still I know love. And I've sat here talking down your camera for the last 8 hours without giving you a fucking thing.
You're gonna have to hit me pretty hard. Lady at work knows I can handle myself.
Thanks to me.
Do you really think you could take me? Is that really the best you can come up with? Walk in and punch me and some 6-year-old Italian woman?
It's a great plan. Matter of fact, I'm looking forward to it now.
Why don't you just buy a gun?
Cody's coming around tomorrow with his motorcycle helmet and spearfishing guns. I'll do the job.
Spearfishing guns.
Yes, spearfishing guns.
Cut.
Well, mate, time's finally come. Everything we've talked about for the last 3 months has come down to this one moment. I hope you've got no illusions of the enormity you're about to face, because they are huge. When you get in there, you need to walk tall, stand proud, look every man in the eye, the strong and the weak. Because at the end of the day, every man bleeds the same. The difference between these men is who's the more desperate, or even worse, who's the more disturbed. Don't ever lend, son. Don't ever borrow. If you do this, you're sure to end up with enemies you just don't need. When you get in there, speak to the sweepers. Ask them about a bloke named Wally Acor. I've done a bit of time with him, and he's probably the hardest man I've ever met, inside or out. But one thing, don't get too close. That's something you can't afford to do with anyone. Be your own person.
30 seconds. Breathe.
Mate, you've got to keep busy in there. Train every day. Read most nights. If you can do this, you're going to leave a better person, both physically and mentally. I'll be waiting on the other side, mate, and I know you can do this. Your life will start fresh. We'll start from day one when you walk out that gate. I might not be there physically, but I'm going to go through this every step of the moment with you mentally. I'll always be in here, and I'll always be there. Don't ever forget that. Love you to death, my boy. We'll get through this. I know you will. You'll never be alone.
Alright, son, time to go. Let's go.
Got kicked out of school at year 8. I was into Hurstville Boys, from Punchbowl Boys to Hurstville Boys. Lasted at Hurstville Boys for 2 months. By the age of 16, 17, I was doing runs at the cross, a few hits and a lot of cocaine dealing. I knew this bloke for about 2 months from Hurstville Boys, and I saw him working at the front door, selling tickets for girls inside. There's a few rules in the cross that people got to know before they enter. First thing is you got to have a bit of balls and a bit of heart. Second thing is there's street rules that you got to follow. You remind me of Zoran. Zoran thought he had a bit of balls and had a bit of heart. He didn't have all that. I'll tell you what happened to him. He broke a few rules. One day I was up there, tied a Nick, they owned Stripper Rum and Pink Panther. Porky's was owned by someone else, and if you're working at the door, you can't go work at another door. It's against the rules. And he also snitched, which is very bad. You know, teach him a lesson. The next time I walked up the cross, the owner of Pink Panther says to me, "Go upstairs and look at what's happening in the Zoran." Well, fair enough. So I walk up the stairs, see about 7 bikies and that bloke Zoran chained to the sink. Okay, and then I looked, the last 4 blokes all had their pants up. First 3 blokes behind him had their pants down. Then I looked a little bit closer and I noticed they were fucking him up the ass. He turned to me and he looked. He had this look on his face like this, just... You know, I saw him 10 years later after that, and he still had that fucking look in his face, the look of fear. We do arm hold-ups, huh? You can't do any fucking arm hold-ups. You're scared of me. Huh? Scared?
I waited 2 years for him to get out of prison. I spent one night with him. We just held each other all night. The next morning when we woke up, we hung out the washing together. We got in the car and we had a stupid fight, like this really ridiculous fight about who he hangs around with and how I don't trust the guy that he's with. He didn't like it, and basically we got into this big screaming match. He got out of the car. My last words to him were, "Fuck off, get out." I was going to turn around, but for the first time in my life I thought, why should I turn around? Why should I go back? What for? I kept driving, and then an hour later I got a phone call that he was dead. His mum said to me, "Darling, there's been an accident. You need to come over." She took me to the morgue so I could go see him and say goodbye. His body was so cold. And I kept wanting him to come alive again, but he wasn't coming back.